Doug Drysdale, CEO, Cybin, on the Dales Report. All right, I am happy to be joined with the CEO of Cybin, Mr. Doug Drysdale. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Chad. Thank you for having me on today.
I'm sure you are doing great. Obviously, big news yesterday with the press release that came out. Announcement, the sale of 60 million subscription receipts at a price of 75 cents per seat per receipt, excuse me. So gross proceeds of $45 million. So I guess my first question is what's going through your mind right now? Obviously, it's a big testament to the hard work that you guys have been doing over the past 6 months or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really humbled, actually, by the level of support we've gotten from investors. And it's honestly a who's who list of blue chip US biotech funds that came into this round. So
Interesting.
I think that's huge testament to the team, but also to the science behind psychedelics in general and the potential that these therapies have to change how we treat mental illness.
Doug, what was some of the key factors, I guess, when speaking with investors and their interest about your company specifically?
I think it's really the science and all the hard work that's gone into this. You know, we're developing a proprietary sublingual formulation of
Right.
psilocybin. So it's really about focusing on changing the patient experience. But I think there's a lot of interest in psychedelics in general and their potential to change how we treat depression and addiction, for example.
So when you talk about some of the research that you're doing, uh, talk to me more about what a lot of that stuff means. Like, what is the research like? Because you've raised $45 million now. Now it's to execution time. So what is this research going to provide? What makes you differently from other players in the space, and what should we look for?
Yeah, it's the benefit of being able to raise this capital. It means that we can progress our phase 2 program for major depressive disorder,
Yep.
developing a novel sublingual formulation for patients with depression that has the potential to improve the patient experience. And by that, I mean the sublingual formulation, we're expected to be able to give a far less active drug while still providing a therapeutic benefit. At the same time, we anticipate that it'll have a much faster onset of action.
Hmm.
You won't have to wait an hour or so, like with an oral capsule. So if you're a patient that's depressed or anxious, obviously that's a big deal.
Right. We've talked to a few companies that are into like focusing on the oral thin film strips in this industry. You guys obviously are a primary focus on that as well. Is this a trend that you think that other companies will eventually grab onto? Because as you've said, flows obviously through in the bloodstream a lot quicker, faster results, obviously. So what can we expect, I guess, with this specific kind of research moving forward?
Yeah, I think you have to find a solution to each individual problem. And the psilocybin, although it's water soluble and it's a small molecule, it undergoes pretty significant first pass metabolism by the liver. So you lose 50 to 60% of that drug once you give it orally. So this is an obvious, I would say, natural solution to that problem, being able to give less drug but still have a therapeutic benefit by going sublingually.
Doug, talk to me about your background is extensively, obviously, in the pharma industry. What grabbed your interest about this specific industry, and more importantly, Cybin? Like, is it fair to say that big pharma has become a little stalemate when it comes to these new medicines? And, you can't help it, accept the fact that this is a growing trend. The topic of conversation is growing. And given the certain conditions that we're dealing with in life right now, people need more answers and solutions. So what grabs your interest?
Yeah, look, I'm not surprised that big pharma sort of sat on the back burner for a little bit, watching this space. These are naturally occurring molecules, and big pharma development requires an awful lot of capital, and that means you need IP to protect those investments. Look, I think with Compass pathways opening up, the regulatory pathways
Yeah.
with FDA has given a lot of credibility to the space. I think we're going to see novel molecules being developed, and tackling the patient experience. These are 4 to 6 hour treatment sessions, so they're not not your normal take a pill and go to work.
Exactly. Yeah, good point.
Right. So we'll see novel molecules being developed that address that challenge, and I think as that happens, you'll see big pharma jumping into this space.
Well, it appears like on the outside looking in that Compass Pathways has really propelled this entire industry. How much should investors, I guess, read into that? And when we talk about your story specifically, with this money raised, are you poised to obviously take advantage? Because as they say, timing's everything.
Yeah, I think we had fortunate timing, but the Cybin team has been working towards this time for the last couple of years. It's not like something this happened overnight. I do think that Compass's IPO, the successful IPO, has opened some doors and raised awareness with investors. But like I said, it's not just that; it's also the fact that they've kind of highlighted a credible regulatory pathway with the FDA, and that gives investors confidence.
So moving forward, I'll leave it off with this. As far as going public, the focus, I assume, is to be listed in the TSX Venture in the near term, correct?
Actually, once we complete the business combination with Clarmin, we plan to delist from the TSX and apply to the NEO exchange for listing of the resulting shares. So we're very excited about that. That's getting underway. Ultimately, though, I think we have our eyes on the Nasdaq. I think for US biotech investors, that's where we need to be to give them access to stuff.
Well, we appreciate your time. Again, congratulations on the news, and let's keep in touch.
Thank you, Chad.
All right. Thanks, Doug.